It's time to take 10 minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.
Welcome to our discussion of Parshat Vayakhel at its proper time. Beginning of Parshat Vayakhel, Moshe gathers all the Jews. He tells them, look, this is what you should do. What should you do? Sheish yamim tasem lacha. You should do the work for 6 days. Which work? Perhaps it's referring to the Mishkan. You should do the Mishkan. It's important. Do the malacha. Do the building of the tabernacle. Yom HaShvi, on the 7th day, Yelachem Kodesh, Shabbat Shabbaton Hashem. That's a day of rest. It should be a holy day, a Sabbath of Sabbaths. It is unto God. Doing work is a capital punishment on Shabbat. And then, particularly, don't burn any fire on Shabbat. We interpret don't kindle the fire, but you can have one that's already kindled. You can keep it going. That's why we have challenges, etc. on Shabbos. So 2 questions. Number 1, malacha is a good thing. It's beautiful. Look at the malacha that the Jews did, for instance, to build a Mishkan, to build a tabernacle. What an amazing thing. They built a house for God. Amazing. It's a great mitzvah. But not only that, but all malacha that we do is a good thing. In the Gan Eden, even in the Garden of Eden, we were told l'avda u'shomra. We were put there to guard it, but also to work it. The Chazal point out that you're the only person allowed to go into the Holy of Holies, other than the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur, the high priest on Yom Kippur, is if you're there to fix something in the Beis Hamikdash. Okay, they had to stand in a box in order to do it, but you would be allowed in the airspace of the Kodesh Kodashim, of the Holy of Holies, if you were trying to repair something, because malacha, doing work, is very, very important. So then the question is, if malacha, work is good, why can't you do it on Shabbos? What's the problem? Why don't we work 7 days a week? And also, second question, why lo tivaru eish? Specifically, we can't do fire on Shabbos. There's a lot of things you can't do on Shabbos. It says, kol malacha lo yaseh. It says in the Ten Commandments, other places, no work should be done. So, just kindling a fire? Why is that singled out? Whereas Chazal would put it, lama yatzaz. Why did it come out of the generality of not doing work to specify this particular form of work? So I heard an interesting lecture from Ran ben Moshe, Chon Meir, and based on that, I wanted to share the following. God gave us a lot of rights and privileges in this world. For instance, he said, he said, here, the world is yours. But he said, really, the world, God owns everything in the world. So you really shouldn't be able to eat anything in this world. So the rabbis say, if you make a bracha first, then it's okay. So you partaking of this world is good, but only after we make a bracha. Learning Torah, it's a mitzvah to learn Torah, but only after you thank God for it. Thank God for the gift of Torah. Baruch Hashem notein Torah. Bless God who is the giver of Torah. Then and only then can you partake of Torah. Rabbis say permission is given to the Rofei L'Rapot, Nitan L'Reshus L'Rofei L'Rapos, based on Parshas Mishpatim, that you're allowed to, and perhaps a mitzvah to heal people if you're a doctor, if you're able to help somebody. But it's important for the doctor to realize that he's not God. He shouldn't think that his life and death are in his hands. Shouldn't become a decisor of life and death. Should just heal. We're given the great privilege of giving birth to children, of conceiving children, of helping bring children into this world. But we have to give our first child to God. B'yon haben, we redeem the first. We don't give him, but we redeem the first child when they're born. We have this great privilege of being farmers, or some of us are gardeners. We plant tomatoes. Some people plant wheat and trees and all kinds of things. Great, but you should bring your first fruits to God before you do that. And then we turn to our question again. If malacha, if work is a good thing, so why not do it on Shabbos? So the answer is, God gave us permission to do work, even a mitzvah, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi says, you should work for 6 days. It's a mitzvah. We need to work. As we said, it's certainly a great value, whether it's a mitzvah or not. But that privilege is held back once in a while. On Shabbat, Yom Tov, to some degree, on Shabbat, God says, no. Holding back from that. Remember, it's a special gift. Your ability to change the world, to do something. And that's why specifically here it mentions the Eish, the fire. Because fire, of all the malachot, I think it's Ibn Ezra points this out, of all the malachot, of all the things you're not supposed to do on Shabbos, they're very nice. You take some string and you weave, you crochet. You take 2 pieces of cloth, you attach them together with some threads. You build something. You plant something. Take a seed, put it in the ground, water it, it grows. But the only thing where you do a few things, you scrape a flintstone and some other things, and all of a sudden, there's fire. Out of nowhere. You strike a match, and there's fire. Turn on the gas burner, and there's a spark, there's a fire. It's something from nothing. Yesh me'ayin. Almost lahavdil, like the original creation of God, where originally there was nothing. That's what we believe. There was originally nothing. And then God created something out of nothing, which defies all the laws of modern science, but that's how it is. God was by himself. There was nothing, and then he created something. So when you partake of fire, we have to realize we're godlike. Fire is a godlike thing, that we're doing something that's really reserved for God. But not on Shabbat. One day a week, we're to remember that we're not God. We have these abilities, but we were given that as a gift. You could, ask someone to give something to God, give some of it back. That's how he asks. He says, one day, don't do it. Some humility, some holding back, some realization that we will not be able to finish all the work. We don't live long enough to do that. The Gemara in Sanhedrin says that Ruya Aiza Batsheva LeDavid, that really Batsheva was supposed to marry David, but he just didn't wait for the right time. I heard from Ran Ben Moshe, I don't know where, I couldn't find the source, that Adam HaRishon could have eaten from the special fruit, from the Eitz Hadas, from the tree of knowledge, but he had to wait for Shabbos, and he couldn't wait those few hours. Achla Paga, both David and Adam HaRishon didn't wait to their moment that came. Work is a beautiful thing, but it needs to be done at the right time. Do it on Shabbos, that's not the right time. So we should work, as some of my Rebbe Zakusha pointed out, that not just to work is it's work of can be very demeaning if you're just working for nothing. But malacha, accomplishment, that's really something. When you accomplish something, when you do weave something, you do plant something, you do build something, you do light a candle, that's malacha, and it's a great privilege. But we have to be thankful that we have this privilege. We have to sometimes hold back from privileges that we've been given, just to recognize that it is indeed a privilege. That restraint is called gvura. That restraint is called greatness, to be able to restrain yourself from that which you've been given that gift. But no, not on this day. Remember, it's a gift from God. Hold back. This ultimately malacha, ultimately the ultimate creations, the heavens and all the gazillion stars and planets out there, that's for God. To whom does malacha belong? God gave us a great privilege to partake of malacha, to do and la'asot. He gave us a world so we could make things and create and look at all the inventions and all the great things that have been done in the modern era. But every now and then, to take a pause and remember, even that ability doesn't make us God. We have a special gift. Appreciate that gift. Think about it and give thanks to God for it. Our way of doing that is taking that one day of Shabbos, that one day off, to remember this important point. Thank you for joining us here at the Baron Hirsch Congregation. Thanks to Jason Lefkowitz, our producer. And thank you for joining us here each Shabbat, each Friday and Thursday and Friday, joining us for the various thoughts on the Parsha, holidays. Soon we'll be talking about Pesach. Thank you very much.
This has been 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.